Hello, my name is Pramod Kumar. I am a certified functional consultant in Dynamics 365, and I work with Samadhan India Private Limited. Today I am going to demonstrate a customization we have built that is particularly valuable for the flexible packaging and film industry, and I will take you through the whole of it, step by step, so you can see exactly how it works. If you look at the navigation inside the Sales and Marketing module, you will find two entries that Samadhan has added: the Pre-Sales PDI and the Pre-Production PDI. PDI stands for Product Design Interface, and together these two forms carry a product from the moment a customer inquiry arrives all the way through to a manufacturable design. Let me start with the benefits. From the Pre-Sales PDI, you can configure a new product together with the assemblies it requires, and the bill of materials items at each assembly level. You can configure the applicable route and the processes needed for the finished goods assembly and for the sub-assembly level items beneath it. And critically, you can calculate the price of that product right there in exactly the same place. That price calculation takes into account the markup and profit percentage you want to apply, along with any other charges that happen to be applicable to this particular product. You can also attach the image and the artwork, including the print layout format and the artwork details. And you can define the packaging. The packing material cost flows in automatically from the PDS form, so it is not something anybody has to look up and key in by hand in the middle of preparing a quotation for a customer. In the packing details section here, you define all of your packing information, and from that point onward the pre-sales data and the pre-production design flow through automatically. That single flow is what removes the duplicate data entry between your sales team and your design team. So product modeling and product design features are now available directly inside sales and marketing at the pre-sales stage. That is a genuinely important shift because it means your commercial team can respond to an inquiry with a technically accurate, properly costed design, rather than promising something first and discovering later whether the plant can actually make it. Here you define the thickness, the material, the default order type, and the unit of measure. Now let us look at the PDS form. Here you define the surface treatment for the film, whether that is corona treatment or chemical treatment. You define whether the layer is printed or not, simply yes or no, and if it is printed, how many colors are required to print it. All of this is defined against the work-in-progress film, layer by layer, so that every single layer in the structure carries its own complete specification rather than an assumption. And where a film is built from a combination of several different films, you can define those additional layers here as well. So a multi-layer laminate is described properly, rather than being forced into a single flat definition that does not reflect what you actually produce. Where printing parameters are needed on the work-in-progress film, you define the printed film in this form. Let me show you some real data now, because seeing actual values makes this considerably easier to follow. Here you can see a structure where one side is printed, and so the printing comes through on that side, and the work-in-progress printed film is defined right here for you. And for that printed film, you define which operations are required, which means the route is set up in this same form. You also define the ink, the viscosity, and the solvent here. So the commercial description of the product and the technical means of producing it are captured together in one single place, instead of living in two separate systems that slowly drift apart. The color combinations required for printing that film are defined in this form, and the printing plates as well. All of those facilities are part of the customization. You can also add the format of the art image here, so the visual reference sits alongside the technical data. And if the product is laminated, that is fully handled too. In the header, you simply indicate that it is a laminated film, and the system responds to that selection immediately. When you mark it as laminated, an additional form appears for the lamination parameters, and you define the laminated film there. Then we come to the packing detail, where you specify the level of packing. That could be a jumbo pack, a pallet, a master case, a roll pack, or a small carton. and you define the details level by level, exactly as the product is actually shipped to your customer. Once you enable the jumbo bag, this section becomes active automatically, and you define the item and the quantity of jumbo bags required. If a pallet is also being used, you define the pallet item in exactly the same way. The form opens up to match what you have told it, rather than showing everybody every possible field. You can define the top guard and the bottom guard, and the core item required for packing, because in this industry the core that the film is wound onto is a real cost, and it has to be accounted for properly. All of that is defined here, in this one form. Once all the details are in place, you simply click here to calculate the quantity and update the BOM and route. As soon as you click that button, the system automatically updates the subcomponent level, then the third level of the bill of materials, and so on all the way down the structure. The quantities at every one of those levels are calculated for you, rather than being worked out by hand on a spreadsheet somewhere. The prices come through automatically from your master setups, and the packing material cost comes from the packing details we defined a moment ago. The cost summary is calculated including wastage, which matters enormously in film, and from all of that you arrive at the price to quote. Everything you can see on this screen was derived by the system from the design itself, which is exactly what keeps a quotation honest and defensible. This bill of materials is something you can send directly to the customer as part of the quotation. You can see the price against the expected quantity, the total at the current price, and the packing material cost. So every piece of information you need is sitting in this single form. There is no assembling a quotation out of 3 different spreadsheets and then hoping that all of them agree with each other. Once the details are complete, you click the Calculate button, and everything is calculated automatically against the expected quantity. We have also built a workflow into this point of the process, which is an important addition, because it means a design cannot simply move forward on somebody's say-so. It has to be reviewed, and it has to be formally approved first. There is also a summarized PDF report available for reviewing the complete design. You will find it under View as the PDS report. You click here, and the report downloads automatically. This is genuinely useful in practice because it gives your reviewer the entire design in one document, in a form they can read, circulate, and keep on file. Once all the details are complete, you submit it to the workflow, and once it has been approved, you can click Create Pre-Production PDI. Clicking that generates a document with its own pre-production PDI number, and the item itself is created automatically at the same moment, with no separate step required from anybody. With that completed, you move on to the pre-production PDI document. You will find it under the same navigation in Sales and Marketing as the pre-production PDI. This is where the design moves out of the commercial stage and into the hands of the people who have to make it. So here you can open the document, and in this form the R&D team can make their changes. They can work at the bill of materials item level and at the respective route. If the R&D team wants to change the route, they change it right here. And this is really the heart of the design process. Sales has proposed something to the customer, and now the technical team validates it and adjusts it wherever it needs adjusting before any of it reaches the shop floor. If they want to change the bill of materials, they do that in the technical data. They can change the converting details or the packing details for the specific requirement that is in front of them. And then, exactly as we did before, they click to calculate the required quantity and update the BOM and route. So the entire structure is recalculated on the new basis, right down to the lowest level, without anybody having to chase it. Once they update those details, the changes automatically flow into the subcomponent product and into the finished goods bill of materials. Nothing is left behind holding old values, and that is the usual failure mode when a design changes late and only part of the structure actually gets updated. That subcomponent product is also customized by us. After the pre-production PDI is complete, a whole set of design reports becomes available for review. There is a flexo printing report, so the printing side of the job can be reviewed independently by the people who are actually responsible for it, rather than everything being signed off in one undifferentiated document. There is a production report, a lamination report, and a converting report available as well. Once the details are updated, you click Review Subcomponent Item. As soon as you do that, every item at the subcomponent level is created automatically for you. Then you click Associate BOM and then Associate Route. Once you press those two buttons, the final bill of materials and the route are associated automatically, and at that point your product is genuinely ready for production. What began as a customer inquiry is now a manufacturable item in the system. There is one more feature I would like to show you, and that is the production method, which is handled by the R&D team. Two options are available here. The first is extra jumbo roll applicable, and the second is multiple finished goods combination, and both of them cover situations that come up regularly in this industry. So wherever a requirement calls for either of those, the team can simply use these features within the same form. Both the Pre-Sales PDI and the Pre-Production PDI also carry quality association. If you want quality checks to be mandatory for an item, you can set that up directly from here. That applies to the item itself or to the subcomponent level items beneath it. You simply click on Quality Association and then define the quality association for that item here. So quality is not an afterthought that gets bolted on at the very end. It is attached to the design itself, which means it travels with the product automatically every single time that product is made, without depending on anybody remembering to apply it. So this is a genuinely valuable customization for anyone working in the flexible packaging and film industry, built around comprehensive product modeling. From it, you get the final thickness, the density, and the GSM of the finished product, along with the quantities that are required. That covers the work-in-progress items, the printed film roll, the laminated film, the inks, and the solvents. All of those details are calculated automatically for you. And supporting all of it, there is a full set of master setups behind the scenes. You have everything you need for the Pre-Sales PDI and for the R&D team. The raw material price master, the parameter master, and the category parameters. These are configured once, during implementation, and everything you have watched today draws on them quietly in the background. The lookup setups and the master setups are all available for the PDI as well. So what you have seen today is a complete path, running from a customer inquiry right through to a costed, approved, and manufacturable design, with the bill of materials and the route associated and quality attached, all of it inside Dynamics 365. This is the customization built by Samadhan India Private Limited for the flexible packaging and film industry. Thank you very much for watching.